Ladies and gentlemen, here we are in Game 4. We will see the Chen on the dark green team versus ffluw on the red team. I am Binary Brandon. You will see Zontacore, the developer, has actually hosted the game because we were having a touch of connection issues, but it looks like everybody has loaded in successfully. We are going to see Zontacore on the black team. He will be, as we said, just the host, so we won't need to pay attention to the black or the blue teams. But we will focus on the dark green, which will be the Chen, and the red, which will be ffluw. Now, I have seen on this map, red sticks out like a sore thumb. It's really easy to see these red units. Now, here's the thing. ffluw seems to be taking notes as well. The Chen and ffluw both using this strategy where they're going to use their mortar to push into this tower. Oh, no! ffluw losing his soldier. He should be able to afford to build another one, but he's got the right strategy. Use that mortar, take out this tower. He should get it by the end of the turn. Not quite. But we did see Chen. I think the payout is slightly delayed, so maybe... No, we would have seen a unit spawn on that flag. But we do see Chen on the dark green. Seems to be down here, and he did, in fact, get that region bonus. Using his mortars, making quick work of these towers. Moving across... Mutana? I'm not sure. And here it is, the split. Use one mortar to the south, one mortar to the north. Of course, he knows this is actually very smart. He knows he's not going to get the whole region by the end of the turn. So he's instead going to take out two of them. He could very well train another unit if he can afford it. We also see, here we go. This is what I like to see. ffluw using the strategies that he's observed in these other matches earlier today. Now, this is where you can gain an advantage just by playing later in the day. You can see what other people are doing and adapt your strategy for it. And now, as we tick over into turn 3, ffluw's going to make 8 gold. And we will see the Chen only getting 6. ffluw also getting 2 banner units. 1, 2. But, of course, because the Chen got 1 last turn, he's getting 1 this turn. We'll wind up stalemating there. So it's just going to be ffluw. I actually think breaking even on gold as well, because Chen had a 2 gold advantage going into turn 2. But no matter. These players are very evenly matched. Again, they've been paying attention. They've been taking notes. And so, as we said, Webster was the first one that we saw using this strategy of really splintered forces. We see he's got 1 region in the far east. He's got 1 region in the far west. 1 up here in the northeast. And that's going to give him these banner units all over the map. And it's going to allow him to have a bit more of a slow roll. And look at this. All of the regions that he's taken have been 2 towers. So even though ffluw has 4 regions, he's only getting 12 gold. Only a 2 gold advantage to Chen. Chen choosing to keep his units pretty well centralized. Everything's sort of in the southeast corner here. He's got this nice lake that he can, if he gets stressed out, he can come take a look at the lake, relax a bit, go out on a speedboat, whatever he wants to do. Yet another splinter force in the northwest. Now, this is one of my favorite regions up here, the Ar-Raqqa region and the Al-Hasaka regions. Because there's just this one ramp that leads up here. You see, there's no other way into this. And we've also got this one ramp here leading to the north. So if you hold these 2 regions and even wind up getting this region, Hims, there is one way in. You got this this ramp, that bridge. Great stuff. So he could fall back into a very heavily defensive position. But because of how well spread out his units are, I don't think that's something he's going to have to do. Ticking over into turn 5, we do see ffluw with an advantage. 18 gold per turn to the 15 for Chen. But as we said, some of that comes from the fact that ffluw has a lot more small regions, these 2-tower regions, and he's going to get a lot of these bannermen. That's going to be the real advantage. It's not going to be about the gold. It's going to be about the banner units. We see a, strong force here. 3 cavalry and 3 soldiers moving into West Azerbaijan. He's going to make short work of these towers. And it looks like this is where he's going to start to centralize some of his units. Because, again, this is a really well-defended position. You've got 1 choke point here and 1 choke point down here, albeit a bit wider. And we do see... Uh-oh. Here's an engagement. Here is an engagement. This is going to cut into the income of ffluw. He's no longer going to have Well, never mind. He just ticked up to 7 regions. Still got 21 gold. This is what we need to see from Chen. He's moving out. He's taking multiple regions at once. He's pushing in here. Pushing in here to cut this down to 6 regions. And he's catching up in the gold department, folks. You see mortar versus mortar. This will wind up going in the Chen's favor. Now, again, like we said, the red seems to be dominating the map a bit more, but the red sticks out a lot more on this map. Dark green, well, it's certainly not sneaky, but not as obvious as red. For my money, I would love to play brown on this map. Brown or white. Maybe yellow. We see Erbil being taken by the one and only ffluw. Strong force of mortars for the Chen. Using just mortars. I don't know that we've seen him build many soldiers yet. And now again, he's got this really strong centralized green chunk of the map. But this is going to be a twofold thing because one, it gives ffluw many angles from which he can attack. It also gives him pretty much a straight shot. If he gets in, he can just continue. So we'll see how these two players decide to play this out. Do you see the banners starting to build up? ffluw should be getting this notification that he's under attack over here, but he doesn't seem to really care. He's continuing to take towers across the north. And it looks like we were going to be right. It is going to be this northeast corner where he chooses to start centralizing his forces. Continuing west, taking more regions. Meanwhile, we see just a few cavalry coming out. Now, these cavalry, these can be very easily kited. You'll notice that they're not taking a ton of damage because they have a good amount of HP. The mortars are also fairly low DPS, only 8 DPS. There's the cavalry, 36 DPS. So it looks like this engagement will go the way of the mortars, but that's only because there were so many of them. And now we just ticked over into turn 8. So there's going to be a fresh bunch of gold that ffluw can spend here if he wants to continue defending this, and it looks like he will. 2 or 3 cavalry should be enough to hold this off. Well, of course, he goes in and attacks. There you go. Chen continuing to build, now bringing in some cavalry of his own. Looks like he's just going to try to go with overwhelming numbers. We do see 24 income to 23 income, both players with 8 regions. Nice even match. And now a healer, medic for ffluw. Keeping his boys nice and healthy. Topped off. Unfortunately, that medic wandering into enemy territory. Little medic. There you go. Big red chunk moving in behind, trying to get the cutoff. ffluw recognizing accurately that if he can cut off this region bonus, he'll be in good shape. The cavalry come back. They will engage, but we see a handful of soldiers being produced. It's going to be curious to see how much both of these players decide to invest in here. And it looks like ffluw is going pretty heavily. Built out a handful of cavalry. He's got a handful of soldiers as well. And he is easily winning this engagement. Chen has to decide how much he's willing to invest here, if he's just going to cut his losses. He's got this one mortar. Looks like he will wind up going down. And of course, that's A-okay. Not the end of the world. One of the interesting things about this game, as we have said, is that no matter how low your income gets, all it takes is 4 basic units to take a tower. You see some of these green chunks across the map. Chen's starting to move out off of his banners. Now, here's something that I like to talk about. You guys know me. These banner units, we can see a lot of green chunks. Chen moving some of them away. So doing an okay job recognizing it, but we also see a bunch of red chunks. Because ffluw has slightly more regions, he's got to be a little more careful with that. Doesn't look... Okay, it looks like he's got 1 banner that's full. So not the end of the world, but something to keep an eye out for. Now a pretty healthy force for the Chen. Trying to take back his Anbar region. But looks like maybe not. Changing his mind. Looks like he's got a handful of mortars, but mostly soldiers and 1 cavalry. That might be a medic there? Yeah. Got 1 medic, 1 mortar, the rest soldiers, and 1 cavalry. And if he's quick, he can move in here. and take this region. I believe he's got the superior numbers. He's also got the superior positioning. If he comes up from the south, he can get engaged in this without anybody from these other towers having a line of fire on him. It looks like he's thinking about it. Cranking out a few more mortars. And now microing his units, bringing in the soldiers first. Smart play. This is the way to do it. You want to make sure that the units that you're moving around are only the units you want to move around. You don't need to send in your medics in the front line. And you don't need to send in your cavalry last. But you can. More cavalry. Soldier coming over. And now ffluw. Wow, very well recognizing that this attack is coming. But Chen, oh my gosh, this is really smart. Making a two-pronged attack. Moving over to the east. And he's got these soldiers to cut off any reinforcements that try to come over. He can move in his soldiers to cut them off. Now, this is going to be a tough engagement for him. He's got to take out these medics. It looks like he's not able to. Now, this is it. He's moved the soldiers off position. He can move his soldiers in to try to make short work of this tower. I love this play from Chen. This is so smart. He's got his medics. ffluw still cranking out more units, and now these soldiers might be in no man's land, but the cavalry heading south, they're going to wrap around. It looks like they're going to trade towers. Perhaps. Maybe not. Chen with some reinforcements back. And we also see ffluw wins the engagement to the east, and it looks like he's going to win the engagement on the tower as well. These handful of mortars seem to be making the difference. So I guess it'll wind up being stalemate. Both players invest somewhat heavily into that attack. Really smart tactical decision from the Chen, and really good map awareness from ffluw to recognize it and just decide that he does not want to deal with that. We are in turn 12, and we have ffluw making 33 gold per turn, and the Chen with 21. We will see how this game continues to play out, folks. The Chen trying to draw these units down south. No such luck. ffluw microing really effectively. It's interesting because this is where a lot of the action has been happening. I've been watching the map. What I would love to see here is either player, while they're... Oh, I like this dance that they got going on. While either player able to do something on the back lines as this is going on. Maybe continue expanding in one direction or another. Here comes the engagement. The 3 cavalry move in first. They're going to go down pretty quickly. There are no medics here for the Chen. And I don't know if this is a great engagement for him. He's just going to lose his cavalry. His soldiers are going to be next if he's not careful. He needs to pull these guys back unless he's got some sort of trick up his sleeve. This is some sort of gambit maybe, but this is just a whole bunch of dead green units. That'll do it. That's a fight, folks. ffluw takes it. Of course, winning the battle doesn't mean much when the war rages onward. Both players seem content to make this the front. Continuing to battle over this one ramp, this one region, but neither making a sizable difference. ffluw making more gold, and I think that's why he's pretty content to play defensively here. He doesn't really need to start spreading around the map. He's got a healthy amount of red up in the north. What Chen could do is maybe produce something out of Hims, take this region, and then use that to start pushing northward, but all the same, we will see what he decides to do. These mortars, he's trying to shoot from the low ground, and he does find a spot here. Gets a little bit of free damage. These mortars as well can shoot down from the high ground. Here we go, yet another engagement. The Chen using this micro really effectively. Moving his soldiers over to the west. He's got his cavalry. He needs to engage these guys. His soldiers, he's not microing them. He's not stuttering them. Move forward, take a shot, step back, take a shot, step back, take a shot. It's like the Marine stutter step micro from StarCraft. Works very effectively in this game, especially against a unit like the cavalry. Yes, it's fast and it can get on top of you. If you use your micro, you can win engagements that you probably shouldn't, numbers-wise. But again, the Chen just sort of feeding this army to ffluw. Not sure what his strategy is. Perhaps he has something in mind. Now ffluw is going to be able to move south and maybe take these towers. It did just tick over into turn 15, so the Chen will have some gold to build up his army again. See, moving in on the eastern tower of the 2 here in Najaf. And I believe this may be the beginning of the end for the Chen. putting in these cavalry, but again, that's not a fight you're going to win, Chen. You're woefully outnumbered. It's just all ffluw. These units are standing here and shooting, but again, there are medics. There are enough medics that they're not really doing much damage here. And again, the cavalry is just going to make short work of them. There go all of the Chen's units. Ticking towards the end of turn 15. 44 income for ffluw. Since Chen just lost that region, he's now down to 18. We do see the Chen losing more towers. Meanwhile, ffluw looking very healthy, taking more regions. He's got himself a nice, strong foothold. One of the things that I will point out about this game is that it seems to be very momentum heavy, which is not surprising, as it is modeled after the, well, I suppose the story is it's modeled after the Warcraft 3 custom game Risk, which is modeled after the board game Risk, in which momentum is a huge factor. Worth mentioning that we do see ffluw taking yet more regions. We saw the Chen hanging out here this whole time, and he chose just not to continue out westward. I guess 4 soldiers against 1 cavalry. This should be winnable for him, unless he's deciding not to go for it. It looks like he may not. Here comes a cavalry. Oh, wow. Making the smart play. Running past the soldiers. He's just going to try to cripple the economy. Come in, take 1 tower, and now all of a sudden, Chen down to 16 gold per turn. ffluw at 49? Are you kidding me? The momentum that ffluw has. It's going to be tough to deal with. Another big engagement up here in Karbala. ffluw putting on a clinic in how to cripple someone's economy. 14 gold now for Chen. All of his regions, ffluw able to just move in, take 1 tower, and then take the second. What we're going to want to watch for down here on the minimap, folks, is look for this little green blob to move out somewhere, but instead it's the red blob moving in. Multiple places, multiple regions. ffluw showing that he's got the chops. Great map awareness. Here's a green blob, but it's not moving the way that I want to see it move. I would love to see these guys pull back. Maybe move through the east. Try to start moving through other regions. Because in a head-on engagement, what he needs to do is he needs to split ffluw's units. Now, as we said, 4 units, 4 basic soldiers. I believe I'm the blue team. Yes. 4 of these basic units, whether it's the soldier, the spearman, or the droid trooper, is all it takes to take down 1 tower. So what the Chen could do to try to turn the tide of this match, instead of using these mortars, just produce 4 gold worth of soldiers, move them in, and attack here. Then pop over here, produce 4 soldiers, move them in here. And what he's going to be able to do is then force ffluw to make a decision. Do I react to this? Do I decide to build some units here to defend this? Or do I just let it go? And that is remain to be seen. We will see what Chen decides to do, but we are seeing red. Again, interestingly, ffluw is doing what I would love to see Chen do, which is just move in a couple of units here and there. Although he's doing it with cavalry, which is a 5 gold unit. He's making a lot of cavalry here. Is this going to be where he starts striking into the heart? Also, worth pointing out, he's getting very close to this 85% number. 80-85%. I'm not 100% sure what it is. But at some point, he will just end the game because he's got most of the map. In fact, if I were him, I may even forget about this dark green and just start going for these couple of towers in here on the mini-map that are controlled by the neutral. Oh my goodness. 2 tanks, 4 cavalry, and 6 soldiers. ffluw saying that he came to play. These tanks, 80 DPS, folks. One of the strongest units in the game. In fact, I think it is the highest DPS. I'm not 100% sure on that. Highest single DPS, I should say. The assault droid is 60. I think that's the next highest. And then there's also the cyborg squad, which is 35. This is going to be close, folks. ffluw, 61 gold per turn. Chen, 8 gold per turn. Chen's got to do something here. So I think if he loses 1 or 2 more towers, again, ffluw is just so close. He's got to feel victory in his grasp. Getting 1 round closer to that grand prize. And here he is. He's moving along. He is. Maybe he's recognized this. He's got to take these other towers. Force the issue. Got to be close. I can't believe that he doesn't have it yet. Chen, what are you going to do? What's the plan? Where are you going? Where's your bailout? Where's your eject button? What do you got for us? So we see ffluw continuing the dominance of this north portion of the map. And at this point, Chen only with one tower outside of his main force back here. Still producing units back here. And man, I gotta say, it's not looking good for Chen. Only 8 gold per turn.
You are under attack.
Now granted, 8 gold per turn is enough to still be in this game. Is enough to get himself back in it. Only takes 4 gold, folks. This might be the last tower that ffluw needs. Every single one he's taken recently. I'm waiting for that defeat screen to pop up. Nope, still not yet. I don't know the exact number that it takes for the game to end, but wow, big force for the Chen here. And this is where these choke points can be really helpful. If he wants to engage, he's going to either have to go all the way around, and in that time, provided that the Chen is paying attention, he can move over to this other choke point. It's going to be really hard for him to strike into this, the heart of the Chen territory. We are past turn 20, folks. And we see some cavalry going up against cavalry. But I don't know if you guys know. Oh, there it is. That's it. There's this tower here in the west. ffluw takes it. And we will see ffluw moving on to the semifinals. Excuse me. ffluw will advance, and here is your bracket. GG to both players. The Chen put up a great showing. I loved some of the things he was doing tactically. The map awareness of ffluw wound up being too much for him. ffluw moving on will face off against William FM. But next up, we are going to see Brat Rustvonodkane. Still don't know if I'm saying that right, but he will go up against My Blood Hurts. And the winner of these next 2 matches, again, guarantees themselves somewhere in the money. First place, $50. Second place, $25. Provided by your developers themselves. So they will be very excited to win this next match. I'm Binary Brandon, folks. Jumping off for this game. We will see you in Game 5.